I am standing by with a woman that has completely just mesmerized me. I'm incredibly honored to be standing here with the beautiful and very talented and very intellectual Dr. Anna Trappido. Of course, she is an anthropologist, she's a chef, she's a blogger, she's a broadcaster, she's so many things in just one, but she's also the author of the book that we're going to be talking about this morning, Hunger for Freedom, and I'm very honored to be once again in the kitchen with you. Where was the last time when we met? In Kliptown. How are you, Anna?
I'm very well. All we ever do is eat, hey?
All we ever do is eat, but you know, it's a different type of eating that we're doing this morning, because the last time Anna and I were together, we made one of Tata Madiba's very favorite dishes, and it was a crab curry.
That's right, yes.
That was fantastic.
We made that curry that was the first curry he'd ever eaten.
Yes.
Do you remember?
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
And you know the beauty of it, and I don't want to actually preempt what you're going to say, but the beauty of this book and the beauty of the way you explain things is that once you've made it, you feel as though you've actually had dinner with him. You've shared a meal with Tata Madiba. Let's talk about the book for a second. Why did you come up with the specific title for the book like that?
Well, it's called Hunger for Freedom, and that's simply a quote from him that, you know, all the best lines always come from the subject. That he says in his autobiography that he wasn't born with a hunger for freedom. He was born free in every way that he could know. So he describes being a little boy that ran in the fields and shot birds out of trees with catapults and stole mealies from grown-ups' gardens. And he says he only began to hunger for freedom when he realized that childhood freedom was an illusion. So yeah, it comes from him.
So here you are, a trained chef. At what point does the love for Nelson Mandela's story become so big to you that you decide, I actually want to follow his life, I want to follow the struggle, and write about how food has affected him throughout his life?
You know, what I like about food, that often we think of history as very dry and boring. And what looking at food does is you can tell everything about somebody from a plate of food. You can say, I love you with food. You can say, I hate you with food very effectively. You can tell people's culture, their economic status. So you know all about somebody by looking at their plates, by what they like to eat, what they like to cook, who they like to share food with. So it's a very nice immediate way of getting a sense of who somebody is. And I think especially with Mr. Mandela, who so often we think of him as this sort of godlike creature, that he's not a real person. He like walked off Mount Olympus and saved the world, when in fact this is a man who, you know, he's a very real man who had, you know, he's terribly gregarious. He loves to sit with his buddies, that he desperately missed on Robben Island, for instance, his mother's Amasi. He missed his wife, for instance, Winnie, used to make a spaghetti and mince dish that he writes about over and over again in the letters that he writes to her, saying how much he misses it, how much he's longing to come home to it, that for him, you know, freedom and liberation has a very personal meaning as well as a broader political one. And for him, it means going home to that house in Soweto with those little girls and that woman and spaghetti and mince on the table.
Fantastic. Now, what I love about the book is it's not just a regular recipe book. It's not a regular cookbook. It really does take you through a journey of Madiba's life. I remember when we made the crab curry, it was one of the first kind of curries that he'd had, and it was such an exceptional story that you told us. What can people expect to find in here when they get the book?
Well, it really does. It goes through his whole life. So it starts at the beginning, and so you've got all the stuff that's like, you know, his mother was a very good cook and a very traditional Xhosa cook. So, you know, that for him, Amasi is just sort of, you know, that's the one thing he can't ever live without. So, you know, it starts with all the little boy food and when he was a herd boy, and then it goes through lovely stuff that, you know, he used to have lovely braais with Joe Slovo and George Bezos, and George Bezos is a seriously good braai. And then, of course, all the horrible stuff. So, hunger strikes on Robben Island, the racially discriminatory diets that, you know, life has all sorts of phases in Mandela's life. There are some extreme highs and lows. So first meal of freedom, last meal before he went to jail. It does his whole life through meals, really.
Well, I see we've got two interesting ingredients here with us this morning. We've got some garlic and chili infused olive oil, and then some yogurt.
Well, this is Amasi.
Is this Amasi?
So
okay.
this is really the kind of great fermented milk dish of the Eastern Cape.
What Tata Madiba absolutely loves.
Yeah, if he had to take one thing with him and never eat anything else again, it would be that.
Wonderful. Loving it. And then we've got this. This is quite interesting.
Well, the chili oil, you know, Robben Island, the food was terrible in all sorts of ways, and deliberately terrible. You know, the prison authorities were trying to make the prisoners have a horrible time. But there was a Hindu priest called Govinda who used to come to the island, and one day he dropped a parcel and Madiba put his foot on it.
Yeah.
And when they went back to the cell, because they didn't know what it was, and what they discovered it was a chili. And then they went to the hospital and they said, no, we're all constipated and we need olive oil.
Wow.
And they got themselves a whole bottle of olive oil, the prisoners, into which they put the priest's chili. And they made chili oil, which made the ghastly prison food slightly less ghastly.
My
so
word. That is amazing.
that religion and culinary creativity and political struggle kind of fuse into the chili oil, really.
Anna, I must tell you, this is what you could sit at Anna's feet and listen to these stories all day. It really is quite amazing. But this morning we have something that is so incredible. A little bit later on, Anna's going to be making a delicious roast lamb recipe. And if you would like to stand a chance to walk away with a copy of Hunger for Freedom this morning that has pages and pages of stories of Madiba's life in it, then all you have to do is SMS the word lamb to 33728. Not only will you get that lamb recipe, but you could also be walking away with this absolutely amazing book. Anna, you and I are going to be right back after the break, right?
Thank you.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
By supporting the Hoedspruit Endangered Species Centre, that's where we found goodness. Pick n Pay, always there for you.